little funny you just show up to the unboxing video in a box. Come on, get out of here. Let's go. All right, y'all, let's bust this thing open. Now you may ask yourself, Bodhi, why are you doing an unboxing video of the new Onewheel XR Classic if you've already ridden it? You've already filmed with it, tested it. Because I want to show you guys what's in the freaking box and tell you a little bit about what the board is, how it rides, what I think about it, and get you stoked on it. There's a box inside the box. Take these little corners out. This is the Onewheel XR Classic, y'all. Give you a 360 box view. Wow. What a cool box. The box even has a handle on the top of it. No way. Okay. Now let's get into the secondary box here. Flaps. Life is about to get more awesome, guys. This is true. If you don't own a Onewheel yet, and this is your first Onewheel, that is an incredibly true statement. If you already own a Onewheel and you're adding to the quiver, equally true statement because this board is incredible. We got our cover here. You ready for the unveil? Damn! Look at that thing. Thanks, Cricket. Ooh-wee. So, comes with your board, comes with your charger. Heads up, if you got a GT charger, that's wrong. No, I'm just kidding. All the XR Classics come with a GT charger because it's the same charger and we already make them. So you get a GT charger with your Classic. So no need to email customer service saying, oh, I got the wrong charger, because you got the right charger. So the regular GT charger is gonna work with this board as well as the GT Hypercharger. And previously the Onewheel came with a paper owner's manual, which always read the owner's manual. There's good information in there about the board, but now the owner's manual is digital via a QR code, or I believe onewheel.com/manuals, where you can find information about the board, safety features, stuff like that. We went paperless for this one because we got to save Mama Earth and whatnot. But this right here is the all new Onewheel XR Classic. This is your new bay right here. This is your ticket to the flow state. This is your one-way trip to Disneyland in your brain. This right here is the Onewheel XR brought back to life with our new technology. Old form factor, new tech, old fun, new fun in one. So the Classic here has the blue powder-coated rails. It's got the low boy foot pads, same as the GT and the GTS, which you can also buy a wooden version of the foot pads. They're not the low boy shape. They're actually very similar to the original XR foot pad where they're flat with a kick at the end. Thanks, Cricket. With the wooden foot pads that you can get additionally, it really makes it look and feel like the good old days. I'm super hyped on these, how they came out, and they smell good, they taste good, and they look good. So if you like that OG XR feel, definitely pick yourself up a set. What this means is that any GT compatible foot pad you have is going to work on the Onewheel XR Classic. So I think that's pretty cool. I know a lot of us have things we already like and we want to just recycle onto the new board, and you can definitely do that. The bumpers are all new. These are not GT compatible bumpers. These are fresh bumpers, which we also have available in the freeride bumper version. You're gonna be a little stronger, have a little bit more angles that are gonna help with different things like freestyle and more extreme riding. But I'm gonna say these are probably the best stock bumpers we've made that I've ridden on a board. They feel good, they slide good right out of the box. So it comes with the performance treaded tire stock, which I think is really amazing. Previously the XR came with the Vega tire, which is a bit of a controversial tire. Cricket and some other people really loved the Vega. I like the Vega after a couple hundred miles. This is a really, really great tire right out of the box. It's gonna do good on street, it's gonna do good on trails, and doesn't take any braking at all. One tip I'll give you is to air down your tire when you first get it. We ship them with a little higher PSI, and you wanna start around about 10% of your body weight for the PSI. Go up go down a little bit, figure out what feels good to you. I like it a little harder in the street, a little softer on the trails. So definitely mess around with that a little bit and figure out what you like best. We got these awesome blue rails, homage to the OG board. As you can see, they're actually not centered where the axle bolt holes are because it's dropped down a little bit, the whole platform of the board. So it has a nice lower center of gravity. Gonna make it a little bit more stable, feel a little bit better under your feet. And we have this in an optional recurve rail version, like you can see on the screen right now, which is gonna give you a little bit more of a locked in feel. It's gonna drop your center of gravity even more and give you a lot more leverage over that front foot to really manipulate the board. So if you think you're gonna be riding a lot of trails, I'd probably recommend the recurve rails. Or if you just like your board to look cool and seem awesome, you can do that too. But me personally, I'm a big fan of the straight rails. I love the recurves, but I've ridden straight rails for about a decade now, so it feels really good to me. So one last thing to mention is when you first get it, plug it in. Charge it all the way up. And after you have it fully charged, take it for a ride and discharge it all the way. Your battery is gonna be more healthy the more you can fully charge it and fully discharge it. It's more important in the first few charges than the overall life of the battery. But definitely make sure as soon as you get it, know you're excited to ride it, but charge that puppy up all the way to the top and go take it for a nice long ride and bring it all the way down to the bottom. All right, y'all, that's enough for now. Let's talk specs. We're gonna get about 17 to 24 miles of range. And this is gonna depend on a few things. This is gonna depend on your weight. This is gonna depend on your tire pressure. This is gonna depend on what you're riding. If you're doing a lot of uphill, if you're doing a lot of downhill, because if you're doing more uphill than downhill, you're gonna burn battery. If you're doing lots of downhill, you're actually gonna regeneratively charge the motor. So you can get pretty long rides if you say set a shuttle or ride on a ski resort and use that regenerative power, you're gonna get some pretty crazy range. But generally, you're gonna get about 18 to 20 miles of range if you're riding it regularly. Obviously, speed matters too. Speed-wise, the official top speed is 20 miles an hour. So your pushback is gonna start kicking in about 19. You're gonna be at full pushback, haptic buzz, more like 21-ish. So it's kind of that little sweet spot in the middle there. And remember, pushback and haptic buzz are here to keep you safe. If you skip the owner's manual and you're only watching this video, your board is gonna tilt up a little bit and buzz under your feet when it's at its safe top speed where it still has power to balance you. If you ignore those safety measures and push the board past its limits, you might have a bad time. What's the voltage of this bad boy?
It's like the same as GT, 76.
76 volts. Now, the first and most important tip to you, my friend, new riders and old, is have fun. Onewheeling is about having fun. Get creative on it, spread the stoke, share the love, and have fun on this board because it is truly a stoke machine. Get to know the board. When you first get on it, it's like an Avatar when the dude jumps on the dragon bird thing and he's wrestling those braids in. You gotta wrestle those braids in, take it easy so that you and the Onewheel can become one and it becomes a part of your body. So take your time. Okay guys, we made it this far. I've been talking your ear off. Now I wanna talk a little bit more about how the board rides and how it feels under my feet. The idea with this board was to take the XR form factor that we've all known and loved. I personally have ridden thousands of miles on XRs. I know lots of you watching this that are previous XR owners love the size of your XR. And that's how this thing feels under your feet. It might have a couple extra pounds on it, but ultimately it feels very reminiscent of the XR's size and weight. Nice low center of gravity and really, really nimble under your feet. It's gonna be a great trick board, a great commuter board all around. It's not too heavy to get in and out of your trunk of your car, up and down the stairs of your apartment. I think it's a perfect middle ground size between the Pint and the GT. The Pint is real nice and small. GT is a little bigger for all that range. Pint's got that nimbleness, but this really strikes the balance in between perfectly in my opinion. And I've really been enjoying the size of it. I've been enjoying the weight of it for doing tricks, cruising around. It feels really good under your feet on trails. Very nimble, yet still very powerful. And it is extremely buttery. It's probably the smoothest, butteriest board I've ridden. And I love how we've carried over some of the Pint S turn compensation and dynamics of that board into this board. So stock off the get, your board is gonna turn a lot smoother and tighter, keeping that nose a little bit higher. But if you're not a fan of that higher nose when you're turning, you can go into your custom settings, you can bring that turn compensation down, and it's gonna give you that lower nose. That's one of the coolest things about the board being fully customizable. The base settings that we've worked to create feel really good to us, but if that doesn't feel the best to you, you can go into each individual setting as a starting point and change the board up.
Here we are in the app. You can switch between the preset modes, brought Mission back, got Elevated Delirium, some of the OGs, and within each mode, you can adjust things like the nose height, you can adjust the braking aggressiveness and the aggressiveness of the throttle separately, the dynamic responsiveness, how quickly your custom tune is going to enact itself, the roll compensation, which is going to lift or lower the nose when you're turning. Then you've got the yaw mix rate here, which is going to keep the board level when it's swinging from side to side. Those are fun to mess around with and figure out what you like. You can turn the jump re-engagement time up, which is going to keep the motor on when you're in the air. I like mine down for tricks. Single zone, dual zone. This is going to turn your sensor into single zone sensor, better for activation. And here is gradient tracking. This is going to adjust how strong it is. This next slider is going to adjust how quickly it's going to come in. And then finally, the max amount of angle that it's going to give you. So you also have things like the map where you can find rides, you can find charge spots, you can find group rides on the map, time segments. There's the leaderboard for overall miles, days, different things. You got all these achievement badges, and then you've got the academy with a variety of videos on riding, board care, things like that. You can also adjust your light bar brightness and a few other little things in the settings.
This board is really responsive, it's quick, it does what you need it to do when you need it to do it. I love the size of the foot pads under my feet. You get space to adjust your foot positions for different things you want to do with the board. More of a landing platform for when you're doing tricks, and it's going to be a little bit better for people with bigger feet. But with that mixture of the firmware and the nimble tire, even if you have smaller feet, you won't have an issue controlling this board at all. It's going to feel very buttery under your feet. I really love the lowered ride height of the board. Gives it a really, really nice feel under your feet. That mixed with the lowboy pads and the performance treaded tire, it feels extremely nimble while still maintaining a really rad level of stability. It's zippy, it's quick. You can crank it all the way up, make it super powerful. You can crank it all the way down and make it super buttery and gooey and loose. Overall, it's my favorite board that we've made. Like I said, I'm a big lover of the XR, but I also really love our latest technology we've come out with, like gradient tracking, where the board can actually feel when you're trying to go up a hill and is gonna lift up the nose and give you more gas, which it in itself is tunable. How quickly it comes in, how much angle it's gonna give you. And it even does the same thing going downhill. So it senses when you're going downhill, it's gonna lift your tail and give you more brakes. So the combination of all this new technology we've created over the last 6 years since the XR came out, slam packed into this smaller body, is really, really awesome. Kind of reminds me of my camera, my Sony A7C. Everything you like about the bigger camera, put in a smaller body. It's old school form factor with new school fun. And I really, really enjoy this board. I know you could say I'm biased because I work for Onewheel, and hey, you might be right. But at the end of the day, I truly, from the bottom of my heart, love this board. It feels really incredible under my feet and is for sure gonna be my go-to board. Still gonna rip the rally on the trails. Still love the Pint for throwing in and out of the car, ripping, doing some tricks. But I have a feeling this board is gonna be under my feet more than anything else. And the level of butteriness, carviness, customizability, that great size, it all comes together to create a truly divine piece of technology that is gonna have you stoking out of your mind, entering you directly into the flow state, getting you from point A to point B faster. Maybe you might even get into things like myself and my boy Cricket, like freestyle. You might even inspire yourself into racing with this board. The possibilities are endless. But I gotta say, we really knocked it out of the park with this one, and it feels really good. right, y'all, this is the end of our road together. I hope you maybe learned something. I hope you feel stoked and inspired. This board is gonna bring so much joy to your life. If you have any questions about it, leave them down in the comments. Hit me up personally if you'd like to, and get stoked, because this is the Stoke machine. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Check out some of our other videos. Me and Cricket recently dropped Santa Cruzin', super banger at it. We got lots of fun stuff to get you ready to ride, get you super stoked. So get on your board, put your helmet on, and go rip. And sub to the channel if you aren't subbed yet. You kind of pretty, girl. Damn!